Welcome to Catopia and Chapter 14. I apologize for any wind interference, but it could happen. Chapter 14 was kind of a fun chapter to write. It's a chapter about poop. Poop isn't necessarily all that much fun, but it's a very common thing in a veterinary practice. Sometimes it comes in special little samples that we give out to clients, and it's hermetically sealed and it's perfect. And sometimes it's just a gift that we're given. But poop does speak volumes. Our patients don't talk, and so when we get a poop sample, we can learn an awful lot about the cat from that sample. So you may be wondering where the inspiration came for the characters for Chapter 14. I was driving into work one day listening to the CBC, and they were talking about this town in Nova Scotia called Tidsville. I've lived in Nova Scotia most of my life, and I've never heard of a town called Tidsville. So I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, presumably if it's called Tidsville, there's a lot of Tids living there. And then I thought, well, if I had a cat and I lived in Tidsville and I was a Tid, what would I call my cat? And I thought, Titus. I'd call my cat Titus. And then I thought, if I wanted to distinguish my cat in Tidsville from all the other cats in Tidsville, how could I do that? I'll throw a Roman numeral after it. So he became Titus Tid III from Tidsville. And in case anyone is wondering, my husband really did get called out on a host call for a client who was convinced his cat had rabies. The cat was running all over the house, foaming at the mouth, hiding in closets, very, very distressed, and so was the owner. So late one night, my husband went out armed with all kinds of stuff to do a host call for a cat that may have rabies. And it turns out, when my husband cornered the cat in the closet, the cat had a little piece of, you guessed it, poo attached to his behind, and it was simply a matter of snipping off that offending piece of poo, and the cat was cured, and he walked away happy, and everybody walked away happy. Oddly enough, the client just didn't believe that he was paying a host call for a cat that had poo on his bum. So my husband offered to come back at no charge if in fact the cat did develop a serious illness and it wasn't related to the poo. But he never did call, so presumably everything was fine. From all of us in Catopia, see you next week for Chapter 15. Alright, so everybody, yoo-hoo, gravy train.